Member for Hamilton Mountain.
Thanks, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank my colleague for his speech. But what I do take offense to is when he said it's not all doom and gloom. It's very, very hard to say it's not doom and gloom to the workers that would announce that they're going to be losing their jobs. However, in saying that, I understand that, he's talking about the future of the business, and I want to ask him, what are we doing about the situation today? Is he willing, will he support and organize an all-federal party committee to join in with an all-federal or an all-provincial party at the provincial level, along with the unions, the company, and the mayor of Oshawa, for a meeting as soon as possible so that the people can see that we're all people in this House are working together to try to resolve this issue.
The Honourable Minister has 1 minute to respond.
Just very quickly, Madam Speaker, I was highlighting the fact that overall the sector is headed in the right direction. Make no mistake, what's happened today is devastating. Make no mistake that what the families are going through is unimaginable. This is serious stuff. These are workers, these are communities that are impacted. So I do not want to minimize that, nor have I minimized that. What I highlighted is that we want to build a strong and robust automotive sector, and we're more than willing to work with other political parties, the unions, with the auto manufacturers as well. We have an open door policy because we believe in this sector and we believe in the fact that it creates good quality middle class jobs.
Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for Hamilton Mountain.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I think the announcement this morning of the GM closure came as a surprise to everyone. And obviously it's devastating news. It's devastating news for our economy. It's devastating news for the community, and it's devastating news for all the workers and their families and the pensioners who will be affected. The effects of this closure will be huge. The economic and human effects will be felt far and wide beyond just Oshawa and the GM facilities. Up to 30,000 people who work in jobs dependent on the auto sector could be affected. That is 30,000 families who will experience the incredible hardship a closure like this produces. But I'm relieved that we are having this debate tonight. I am also very heartened by the fact that the three major parties in this House could all agree on the need to have this discussion and have it as soon as possible. I've spoken today with colleagues from both the Liberals and the Conservatives and have suggested to them that we need to focus on what we can do to help the workers now and moving forward. Of course, we will talk about the politics of the situation, how we got to this point, and who was to blame. But to me, Mr. Speaker, that is secondary issue. And first, we must do all that we can do to help. In my view, Plan A should be an attempt to keep the plant going. The government must immediately examine ways of keeping the operations going and keeping the workers employed. The Liberal government must explore options to encourage GM to reverse its decision, including targeted investment that would ensure our workers can continue to build the vehicles Canadians need now and in the future. These options must be examined immediately. Plan B would be able to find new investors. Is there anyone out there willing to invest in a way that maintains employment levels? Could the workers too be involved in some sort of investment strategy? More questions, Mr. Speaker, that need to be examined and answered as soon as possible. And Plan C, Mr. Speaker, would be to develop a proper and adequate process of adjustment for the workers in the community. Such a process must ensure that workers are treated with dignity and that proper support systems are put in place. Surely we have learned that asking workers to rely on EI when their workplaces closes is not an adequate response. And everyone in Canada knows that the retraining programs offered to workers in this situation are not even close to being a real solution. It's a joke, really, to think the majority of these workers are going to be trained for a job that's going to provide anything near the wages and benefits that they are relying on now. And what about older workers, Mr. Speaker? It's very unlikely they could even be given the new skills that would make another company want to take them on, especially at the wage level they now earn. Those close to retirement will end up losing significant value from their pensions, and the loss of health and care benefits will be devastating for older workers who have worked their whole lives in physically demanding jobs and count on those benefits for the medicine and therapy that they need. This is not an easy situation for the workers, their families, or the pensioners, and often the effects go beyond what may be obvious on the surface, the loss of income and benefits. I have lived through this situation before and have seen the effects firsthand. When I was employed at Stelco and was president of my local union, the company announced that they were closing. And that was at Canada Works, Mr. Speaker, in 1984 in Hamilton, where we had a wire and it's called a screw manufacturing plant. And when they announced that closure, I've never seen such devastating results where some people took their lives, some people lost their marriages, some people turned to addiction. It was incredibly unbelievable what can actually happen. And this has to be addressed. And it has to be addressed as soon as possible because many people, as of today, they're taking their anger out on the company. They don't know what they're going to do in their future. They're mad. They're asking all of us for help. And we have to show them that help, and we have to show them that support. Otherwise, different things may happen. And right now, they'll be going into a toxic work environment. So we must show that we're there for them. I know the union and the company are going to be talking along, but they need more support than that. The unions and the workers, they need every level of government possible to go forward to show that we're all united in helping them out. Make no mistake, Mr. Speaker, the effects of this closure will be severe and they will be difficult. That is why we needed to have this debate tonight and why we must act immediately to help their workers, their families, and the community. Both GM and the Premier of Ontario may be saying the ship has sailed, but we do not accept that this is a done deal. There is more we can do, and we must act, and we must do it immediately. Our thoughts go out to the workers, pensioners, family, and communities affected by this decision. Thousands of good-paying Canadian jobs will be lost and will leave the families and communities reeling with that impacts. And as I said prior to Mr. Speaker, it's the community, the workers, the families, it's just a ripple effect of what happens. And we really don't see that devastation across the country unless you're there with it. You have to experience it. And that's what these workers are going through today. The support systems they need will not just be on training issues, but they need the jobs to be trained for. And with the government saying previously that there's only precarious and get used to it and part-time and contract track jobs, that is not a very good sign to say, oh, well, we're going to train you to be what? And that is the problem that we're having. So it's very vital that this government, all of us, encourage GM to keep that plant open or find a new investor that can be either a competitor. All that stuff is there in the company. The building is there. All we have to do is do it right, and we can do it all for everybody. So I would do everything in my power to help those affected by this devastating news, and I trust all my colleagues in this House will do the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.